What's up guys, I'm Critics and welcome to another video. This is part 2 on how to do graphics. My style. So last time we were just doing all the Blender stuff. We're about to move on to the GIMP stuff right here. And so I made a pose right here, and the thing is the sword was like the sword was like pointing right towards the camera. And so I moved that a little bit, so if you notice anything different about the render, you are correct, it's the sword. So we're gonna move on to GIMP now. Let me just quickly load it up. Here we go. So we have a new canvas, and we're going to add a background to add like an effect as... We're gonna click open as layers. And, okay, what the crap. I'm gonna use this. I think that's a pretty suitable thing to be using. So... this is what it looks like. And so we're gonna import our render. Oh, I forgot to save it. Oh my god. Okay, so image. Save as images. I'm just gonna save it as this. And into the folder wherever you want it to be. There it is. And if it will load. Okay, it's underneath. Now the reason why you cannot see it is because it's on the layer underneath the background. So in fact, I'm just gonna get rid of that. So this is what it should look like. You can scale it down if you feel like it's taking up a bit too much of the picture. So scale tool. Now this is an extension I have on GIMP to make it look like Photoshop. Yours will probably not look like this. And again, I'll link the download to GIMP in the description. It's the website is basically gimp.org. I'm just gonna scale it down to there. I'm gonna layer to image size by right-clicking it and layer to image size. So let's start by doing an inner glow. Right-click the render, alpha to selection. Now it'll select everything that is inside the character. So you can only draw inside this like line. But if we do Control I, which will invert the selection, that just inverted the render. Okay, but Control I. What the? Wait, select, invert. There we go. Now it only selects the stuff on the outside. Now let's fill it with white or very light gray or whatever you want for the inner glow. So that's what it looks like. You're actually put on a new layer first of all. I'm making so many mistakes, dear god. I mean, it's early in the morning, so go figure. So there is the part of the inner glow. So we're gonna select none. Now filters, blur, Gaussian blur, and you may have to scroll around to see this, but here it is. And select something to your liking. I'm gonna put it to about 30, like that. Now, alpha to selection, Control I. Oh my god, okay. From now on, I guess I'm gonna have to manually go to invert here. Oh, it's Shift Control I, what the? Erase this. Probably get a bigger brush so you can get rid of it more efficiently. I don't know how to like erase with one like tap of a brush, like an emptying bucket or whatever. Anyways, so this is what you have. Duplicate it, and the second one should maybe be a little bit less visible. Put the opacity to about 40 or 50, and then merge that down to that layer. And now make that layer overlay and duplicate that about 5 times. Yeah, 5. So that's what it should look like. No, wait, don't do that. Before you do that, have this is the one layer. Actually put it back to normal for now. And what we want to do is we want to get a fuzzy brush and put it down to there, and erase the parts where the lighting does not make sense one bit. So we're going to erase the parts that are not facing the moon over here, which is this and the inner part of the leg and behind here. I guess that's more or less pointing towards the moon. So is that. Alright, so if you take away that, that's what it looks like. Probably you could get rid of more of that. So now we set it to overlay and duplicate that more. About 4 times again. And merge those all down one by one, starting from the bottom to the render. So, like that. Now you have a beautiful inner glow. Oh boy, I actually didn't even do any of the hand. Yeah, whatever, it's too late. Of course, I could just undo again, but no. So, there we go. That's what the render looks like. Now let's duplicate this layer by clicking this and make sure the top layer is selected. Go to filters, edge detect, and you can choose between edge or neon. I'm going to choose edge. And you don't have to change any of this. I'm going to click OK. So that's what it looks like. It's all black. You may think, oh no, it's all gone. I've lost my hope. No, you have not. So all you have to do is make this layer dodge. And now it's like they're both on top of each other. And it really doesn't affect the color of the underneath layer at all. So again, this is kind of a lighting technique. Get rid of all of the parts that don't make sense when it comes to lighting. So I'm going to get, unless they actually look like really good in the render, then keep them. Like, I guess here, more or less, and here. Just get rid of everything. Now I think that seems about good. I'm gonna set the opacity to about 50, 40 again, and merge down. And that's all one layer. And now this next step is optional. So make a new layer, alpha to selection, and then click this, which makes this black and white. Select the gradient tool and then go up like that to wherever you want like the gradient to like end or start. And then you can experiment with what you think looks good with this gradient, like the layer format. Some people use overlay. Definitely, I don't recommend color or difference. I think overlay or dodge if you're like not too strong with it. I think if you're gonna use dodge, put it about like that, something like that. Yeah, it seems pretty bright on the top. Nothing's really changed at the bottom. Maybe we can have one overlay and one, you know, I'm just gonna do that. Wait, no. Not a good idea. Wait a minute, this isn't even a new layer. Okay, what the heck. So, I'm gonna put this to about 75. It's very roughly 75%. Anyway, so that's good, and now you can merge that down and select nothing. Wait, whoops, I just alpha to selection. Merge down, select none. Alright. Now it actually looks pretty snazzy. So that's part of it. And now we can do a sword glow. So let's do that. Let's select white. Make our brush size about, depends on how big the sword is on the canvas. I'm gonna set this to about 12. And it doesn't matter if it's all like jagged up like this. It'll look good anyways. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna alpha to selection, create a new layer and put it below that layer. And I'm going to fill it with the color of the sword, in which case this is going to be a light blue. So here we go. And since it's selected, it won't fill out the entire canvas. It's just going to select the inside. And you may not see much difference because it's underneath that layer. Remember that. So select none. Filters, blur. Okay. Filters, blur, Gaussian blur. And put that to about 20 to start with. We're gonna start with a moderately small blur. So duplicate that to extend the effect. Do it as much as you want. I do it like 4 times. And by that I mean like, okay, I think that's good. Now merge down and duplicate that again, but don't do anything with it. Just go to blur, Gaussian blur again, but set it to a much higher value, maybe 60. So it like extends the blur. Yeah, so that's all spread out. Merge that down, and then the white down, and now it looks like more or less lightning. But what we're gonna do is we're going to layer boundary size, and we're gonna decrease it. You click this, that if you decrease 1, it looks both go down. So you see, I'm only clicking this, but this is also going down. So I'm gonna put that to about, I'm gonna put it about there. Resize, filters, distort, and eye warp. Now you have to move these settings here. Deform radius, put that to about 5 or 7 or 6, whatever. They're pretty much the same, really, in this relation. And put the deform amount to about 0.5. And now just move it around with your mouse, and it looks really good in the end. I promise you, it is amazing. So I'm going to do this like that, and maybe it looks a bit too lightning-y, so I'm going to like distort it a little even more, and there it is. Looks really good. Now what you want to do, so it looks like it's actually going behind the sword, is get the eraser, set it to the softest brush, or fluffiest, whatever you want to call it. So you erase the parts that you believe do not belong in front of the sword. So like that. And it actually looks like it's going behind the sword, but the thing is, you see these gaps here. Now select the smudge tool and just like move that in so that you can basically get rid of that by using the smudge tool. Like just put it in, mix it a little, same up here. Like this. And yay, we have a thing! Okay, so it's all one layer. Let's duplicate this and filters, blur, Gaussian blur, and make this a really high value. I'm not even going to say, it doesn't even matter at this point. So yeah, I think that's about good. And finally, like, well, not finally, if you want to make this like a cool effect, I don't think burn will do anything right now. Multiply, darken only. I'll find one that fits. Wait, what does this do anyways? Oh, right, okay. You know what? If you're gonna do burn, you may want a darker color than all the rest. So I'm going to just hue saturation, lightness, put that down. I'm gonna put it about there. And when you make the filter burn, looked cooler when I did it. Overlay, nah. Dodge, nah. Don't even know. You can make the actual lightning a different layer format. That's dodge, burn, definitely, no, not burn. Make sure that the lightning's still visible as if it's white. Burn, mark, multiply, no, not any of these. Color, no. Screen. Screen looks pretty good. That actually looks really good, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I'm just gonna keep it at there. So, that's what it looks like. And layer to image size. And go over final touches with a really big brush. Put it to about 500, but opacity really low. Put it about there, so it actually like goes out there to y'all. And there we go. We have a glowing sword, and it's amazing. So don't merge these down, because if you do, it'll just go all weird. So leave that and merge it all down the rest by doing Control M. Well, actually that'll merge down all visible layers. So yeah, what I mean by visible is like you can see them. This is not visible at the moment, so I'm gonna turn that back on so it is visible. Now you see this sword is like, it's glowing and whatever, but it's not really causing much reflection to the player. So what you want to do is go to Alpha Selection on the render, create a new layer, and put it above, leave it above that layer, and make the brush size about 50 or more, however big the render is. That's always what it depends on, isn't it? So select, slowly go around. Well, you need to remember to put the opacity back up, so I'm gonna put it there and just go around the render with a light blue where you think the reflections, the glowing should be from, like that. Okay, so what, and you can set, again, you can like set a different format. I don't know about overlay. Dodge, no. Let's see. Burn, no way. Soft light. Hard light. Oh, hard light's alright. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Maybe you should put on more than one, I guess. Screen. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Put that about there. And we can merge these down. Merge down and merge down. So we have this. You don't need to select anything now. We're gonna do a shine for the eyes. So add a new layer. Yeah, put it beneath the sword glowing, and just get rid of that entirely by, don't delete it. Don't delete it. I mean, make them not visible. So have this layer right above the render, as if the eyes actually underneath the sword on the player. So select that, make your brush white, and the size should be about 25. Again, it all depends on how big you've made the render. So I'm gonna do this. I think that's what my character's begging for. So that looks pretty good. Alpha Selection. Make a new layer and put it below that layer. And make the glow either the color of the eyes or something different if you desire that badly. I'm gonna put it to a light red and fill it. Select a none. Blur. Gaussian blur. Don't set it to such a high value as 120. Set it to about 15 first. And duplicate that so it's more visible. And again, and then blur, Gaussian blur. And put that to about 35. And for the last time, it all depends on how big you've made the render. So that's what it's gonna look like for me. You know, I'm going to do a little bit different, something a little bit different. I'm gonna make these. Wait a minute, overlay, screen. I think screen will do. Make these filters screen or anything really. Dodge. Yeah. Definitely, no, not subtract. It'll make it like, or you could. You just have to do it like the opposite color. Addition. Let me just do one at a time. Okay. Like, I'm gonna try by making one of them a normal layer. Getting rid of that and then smudging around like the eye shines themselves to my liking. And there we go. Now, the final step of these renders is to merge everything down. What the? Wait, merge down. Just color curves. What the? This is set to Control M. How do you change these keybinds? Control Shift M. Control Alt M. What the? Okay, just merge them down one by one. Merge down from the bottom slowly up to the top layer. And you can turn up the contrast if you want to. And you probably could have done that a couple times, honestly. So, that actually looks really good. So, what you want to do now, we're going to do CCs. So, select a color that you think will go well. I'm going to go for green for now. Like it ended up being a greenish blue. So there's the whole thing there. I'm going to grain, you could do grain merge. There's also difference or color. That actually makes everything look really cool for this case. Difference. That actually looks pretty good. Or you can make it like here and turn up the contrast later on. Wait, let me just put it like that. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna put that, yeah, about there. Let's see if we can make like another one. I'm gonna use that green I found earlier. That was pretty slick. But I'm not gonna do, I'm gonna do green merge. Put that about, yeah, there. And merge those down. And now we can up the contrast to our liking. Maybe the green wasn't such a good idea, honestly. I'll just get rid of that and merge the orange down. Merge down, brightness contrast, and I'm gonna put it up to about there. So, there's the render. A finished render with all of its graphics. I'm gonna put a before and after right now. So, here's what it looks like before, and here's what it looks like after. So, it's a pretty big change if I do say so myself. So, yeah. That was the tutorial on how to do my graphics. And thank you all for watching, and I hope you use this tutorial wisely.